Hello, my sweet cyber family. Welcome back to another Foster Care Friday. I am so sorry I missed last week. I was deathly ill with a stomach thing. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me. Today I'm going to talk about if you are interested in helping foster families or children in foster care, but you don't necessarily want to be a foster parent, what are some other ways that you can help with the foster care system? So if you're interested in that, please stick around. But first, if you're new here, my name is Anna Leonora. Together with my husband, Jason, we are foster parents in real life. And here on my channel from the Fosters, we do foster parenting life together and we raise awareness for the foster care system. So if any of that interests you, please consider subscribing to my channel down below so that you can join my growing cyber family here on YouTube. We also talk a little bit about like hot mess parenting because I'm just a total hot mess. I'm not like a regular foster mom. I'm a cool foster mom. Anyone? No? Okay. Just entertaining myself this morning. Anyway, so let's get into it. I did get this question on, I want to say it was on TikTok. Maybe it was on a YouTube comment. I can't remember, but I got this question this week, so it prompted me to want to talk about it a little bit. What are some ways that you can help children in foster care without necessarily being a foster parent? Maybe, you know, having children with you full time just isn't going to work with your work schedule or with your marriage, or you just don't feel like that's the right decision for your biological children. Whatever the reason may be, not everyone is cut out to be a foster parent, and that's okay. That is okay. But there are so many other things you can do for children in foster care. So I'm going to break down just a couple of them. One of the big ones that's another like pretty big time commitment is you could be a guardian ad litem or a CASA volunteer. These are the children's court-appointed, I think court-appointed special advocate is what CASA stands for. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't do CASA in my state. We do guardian ad litem, which is GAL. These are a volunteer who acts as the child's voice in court, basically. So this person goes through training. I have not been through that training, so I'm not 100% sure what that training looks like hours-wise. I want to say our guardian ad litem told us her training was 30 hours, but don't quote me on that. But you go through training for this position, and you learn all about the court process, how important it is for you to not have biases going into it, that you're really going to get to know all the players in the case. Because what your job is a 5-year-old can't walk into court and just tell the court what they think the best thing for them is. Because a 5-year-old doesn't know, right? Or any other young child, an infant, whatever. So the guardian ad litem gets to know all the players in the case. They get to know the child, first and foremost. They get to know the foster family or kinship family, whoever the child is living with, and they get to know the biological family. They know the details of the case. They meet monthly with all the players, and their job is to either testify on the stand or submit a report indicating what their belief is the best interest of the child. So if they believe it's in the best interest of the child to be reunified, they would say that. If they believe it's not in the best interest of the child to be reunified at this time, they would say that. And they would support their opinion with facts, things they've seen, things they've observed, what they know about the case. So as a guardian ad litem or a CASA, it is a volunteer position, so you're not paid for it, but you are acting as that child's voice in court. So you're doing them a huge, huge service, and it's a big deal. But the time requirement is not the same as if a child was living in your house full time, because you're only going to visit these separate families once a month, twice a month, keeping in touch on text with them, but like the child's not living with you full time. And you would of course be required to go to court, but court usually only happens once every couple of months. So it's a much less time constraint than being a foster parent, but it is a huge, huge part of family court. Of course, there are guardian ad litems and CASAs for other types of situations, but I'm specifically talking about family court with juveniles and the foster care system and kind of all of that. So that's one way you could look into that. If you do think you have the time to do the trainings and to, take a couple hours out of your month to go meet with everyone and really get to know these children and speak on their behalf in court. So that's one way. If that is too much for you, which again, it's not for everybody, there certainly are other things you can do. You can become a licensed foster parent and do respite only, which is where you would only take kids short-term who are already in other foster families, but for some reason that foster family needs some time apart from them, whether it be that foster family just needs a break to kind of regroup, or if that foster family is going out of town or is having an event happen that DSS or the biological parents of the child have not authorized the child to attend or be part of, then the child would go to a respite family during that time. So you are acting as like a short term. Now, we have put our foster son in respite care for just one night. So it can be as quick as one night. It can be as quick as just during the day, a couple hours during the day. It can be as long as a week or two, but that's up to you, right? You decide what you can handle. Now you are becoming a licensed foster parent. You do have to do the training process. You do have to do the relicensing process, but there's less of a time constraint if you're respite only because those kids aren't with you 24/7 every day. It's only for short periods of time. So that's an option. You also could just babysit. If you don't want to be a licensed foster parent, you don't want to go through that process, but you're willing to help a foster family out or foster children out just by babysitting, that's a really big help. Like foster parents are parents like every other parents. They need a date night, a night away, or just a little bit of time for themselves, self-care, a massage. Maybe even they need to go do some doctor's appointments and they just need help watching the child. So that's one way you could help. You, at least in my state, do not need to be a licensed foster parent to babysit. As long as the child is going to be with someone for less than 72 hours, they don't have to be a licensed foster family or have the background checks and kind of all of that. If it is going to be more than 72 hours, then you would need to talk to your agency about that. They might need to either do a background check on that person or send them to a respite family. But less than 72 hours, you can use anyone that you deem as a safe person. So we could use my parents, my husband's siblings if we wanted, or even my good friends. Anyone that we would deem an appropriate babysitter, we can use as long as it's less than 72 hours. So you can do that. Other ways are you can find a local foster pantry. I've got a hair. If you've been around for a while, you know I mess with my face a lot during these videos. Anyway, if you just want to help donate, you can look for a local foster pantry in your area. You can donate clothes, shoes, books, toys, hygiene items, school supplies, and just donate those things to the foster pantry. And that's a big help because foster families and kinship families absolutely utilize foster pantries. They have been a wonderful blessing for us. We've had 7 kids come through our home in a year's time. So, that's a lot of kids to do clothes and shoes and toys and books for. So we have certainly utilized foster pantries. And that is a really wonderful resource, especially if they're a little bit older, if they're in school, getting school supplies and hygiene items, things you don't normally think about. Girls in foster care, teenage girls in foster care have such a hard time getting feminine items. That is a basic human right. Women need feminine items if they are of age to have their cycle. And there are teenage girls in foster care that have a really difficult time obtaining them. Some of these girls are uncomfortable asking their foster families for stuff like that. They don't know their foster family well enough to bring that up. And maybe the foster families haven't had a teenage girl and they haven't thought about that. So things like that you just don't think about. And they're really important things. And it's easy. You can even go to the dollar store and get a lot of this stuff and donate it to a foster pantry. You can donate used clothes, shoes, things that you're not wearing anymore, your kids aren't wearing anymore, toys they're not using anymore. Like, they will take it all and give it for free to foster families and kinship families who need it. Also, you can look through foster pantries. I know one of our local foster pantries does like a meal train service for foster families that are getting a new placement. Because, you know, if you think about like a family having a baby, like birthing a baby and having a new baby, usually those first couple weeks with a newborn, family and friends are bringing food and helping around the house and doing things to help out. But people don't think about that with foster children. So when you get a new foster placement, those things are still appreciated. Food, help around the house, things like that. And so some foster pantries will organize a meal train service for foster families that are getting a new placement. So that's a way you could help. Or sometimes they have mentorship programs where you can like, I was going to say adopt a teen, but that's not the right context here. But you could be like paired up with a teenager in foster care who's getting closer to aging out of the system and maybe needs life help, teaching them how to write a resume, teaching them how to write a check, teaching them how to interview for jobs or fill out job applications or fill out college applications, things like how to balance a checkbook. I mean, I know like not a physical checkbook because so few people use those anymore, but like balance your bank accounts, pay your bills, how to set up automatic bill pay, like just little things, how to know when to get your oil changed in your car, how to check your tire pressure or, fill your car up. Or if they have specific like career aspirations and it's in a field that you're in, you could help them with that. Like I am a registered nurse, but I also have a criminal justice degree. So if anybody was going into criminal justice or healthcare, I would have ways to help them with tips for school, studying, things to look into, resource options to help with schooling, different career paths within those things. Sometimes you get foster children who want to be in the military, and maybe having somebody who's in the military or related to someone who's in the military that can kind of talk them through some military related things, stuff like that. So they're not your foster child and you're not with them, 24/7, but you're still doing things for them that are going to help them in their life. I'm sure there are plenty others. If you know of a group home, there aren't really, as far as I know, any group homes for foster children anywhere near where I live. I'm sure they exist in my state, but I haven't heard of any like in my general vicinity. But if you have a group home somewhere in your general vicinity, and you can just reach out to your local Department of Social Services or Children and Family Services, or Child Protective Services, whatever it's called in your area, you can reach out to them and ask these kinds of questions. They're usually super helpful. But you could take let's say you have some extra spending cash and you just want to take a couple teenage girls to go get manicures, and that's like it. Or you want to just take a group of kids to go get some ice cream. So you just pick some kids up, go get some ice cream, and maybe on a different weekend, you pick a couple different kids up and go get some ice cream. So just something small that doesn't cost a lot of money. It's not a ton of your time, but it really means the world to these children. You don't have to be a foster parent to make a difference in these kids' lives. You really don't. And I hope that if you are interested in helping children in foster care, but maybe not ready or don't feel like you are able to be a foster parent, which again is totally fine. But if there's you want to help and you're just not sure what else to do, I hope this video kind of gave you some ideas on things that you can do to help out. And really, it means the world to these kids. These kids they're normal kids. They just need all the same things that normal kids or kids that are not in the system want and need. Adults teach these things to children. And sometimes children in foster care don't have the adults in their life to be able to teach those things. So any of that, I mean, it's really like anything that you could do for your nieces and nephews, anything you could do for your buddies' kids, you can do for foster children. So I hope that helps. As always, if you got any value from this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in helping children in foster care or are a foster parent or are interested in becoming a foster parent, or you know someone who's a foster parent, or you're someone like a teacher or daycare worker and you have children in foster care that you work with on a daily basis, please consider subscribing to my channel so that we can continue to raise more awareness for the foster care system together. If you have any further questions, as always, leave them down below, or you can go follow me on TikTok. I'll leave my TikTok here. I post more frequently on there, but it's not all foster care related content over there. I like to give that kind of disclaimer. I post sort of all kinds of stuff on TikTok. So if you only want foster care content, maybe not over there, but anyway, as always, friends, subscribe to my channel, join my growing family here on YouTube. I love you guys. And until next time, I hope you go out and continue to shine your light in the world. Bye.